Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently working on significant capitalism here. We definitely need to get a bunch more factories made, and that is absolutely something we're working on. Now, we know that we have a bit of an issue at this point with the Central Indian Princely States, so we've marked this as don't notify so that I remember we don't want to do this. This appears to just remove the civilian factory without actually moving it over here, which is not ideal. We would definitely like to move one more into Gwalior, but alas, that doesn't appear to be an option. So we may not be able to do that. Now, we should drop the autonomy of, say, Rajputana. That'll be fine. We definitely want to continue to boost up our political power to that end. So that'll be great. And we need to check in here. So Hyderabad. Yeah, we should not be funneling industry here. Next up would be Mysore, and we can funnel some industry here by 4. We can do 4 there. So that'll be fine. We'll do that. What about the Western Indian states? So those would be presumably, right over here. This is full, so we should not do the Western Indian states. So Kolhapur and Deccan states. Where is this at? Right here. Excellent. That we can funnel industry to. So we'll do that one. And then Khalistan. That is up over here. Okay, 5 looks good. And then we've got Sindh. So we can definitely, well, maybe we can do Sindh. Yeah, we can do 1 there. Although this is actually unlocked. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Let's find out. So we moved that over, and nope, it did not work. Good to know. Actually, a lot of these didn't work, did they? That's interesting. I'm not actually seeing them coming in here. Huh. Maybe it takes time to update. That's certainly interesting. So we might want to stop funneling industry if that's just not doing anything at this point. That is definitely an option. No doubt about that. So yeah, I'm still not seeing an additional factory going in here. That's very, very sad indeed. Well, for the time being, we will continue to construct. It is fine. We're probably wanting, well, I don't know. I think we need to determine whether this is working or not. Yeah, I really think that that's what we need to do. So at this point, this infantry division should definitely move into our Coast Guard. That'll be fine for now. And we should be able to do another reduction of autonomy soon. The question is there anything here that's actually ready for that? Yes, there are several. So that looks good. We'll continue to work on that then. Beautiful. So looking through here, it definitely looks like we are getting close to finishing up all of our construction up over here. That's great. We would love to see that finish. I wonder if it's moving into an in-construction location. Okay, so this is in Mysore, right? And we see that we have 3 slots here that are locked, and there's no buildings there. So let's see what happens if we go to specifically Mysore, and we do this. This should move it into... It should remove 1 civilian factory from East Punjab, but add 1 building slot. And it's not actually moving the factory, but it should add a building slot. No, it did move the factory. Okay, good. So that's absolutely great then. We're glad that that's still happening. So next up would be like Kolhapur and the Deccan states. So that would be this here. There's 5 there. So if we take a look here, yeah, it did move it. Okay, good. So it's not completely bugged. It's just partially bugged. So next up would be Khalistan, which is, or Khalistan up here, which has 5 slots. So we're going to move that there. And it seems to have disappeared. So this is inconsistently working. Okay. Well, that's awkward. We can continue to work on, like, Mysore or Sindh, potentially. This has an unlocked building slot here. I think we're fine to just annex Sindh at this point. So let's make sure that Sindh is marked off as being complete. Now, the Central Indian Princely States isn't exactly complete, and the reason for that is because of Gwalior. so that's unfortunate. I see that this civilian factory did go in here, but this building slot is still locked. So there's that. There's also a military factory here that they're apparently converting. Okay. So that's not ideal. But down here in Mysore, we can see that there are 2 remaining. So let's go ahead and funnel industry down here. That should put us down to 1 remaining. And yes, that is indeed correct. Okay, we can lower the autonomy of another subject. Let's do that in Kalat. Perfect. And we don't have a national focus now. That's deliberate. This research slot, though, we should probably get something going in this. So what are we interested in at this time? I'm probably still interested in grabbing some of these infantry upgrades. I want to get all of our infantry kind of maxed out. So getting some amount of heart attack here is probably for the best if they come at us with tanks, which they probably will. So that's definitely something we want to get going on. So that looks good. We're going to have more factories finishing up here soon. So at this point, we've got Kolhapur and Deccan states, which has 4 slots available. Let's go ahead and do that. But we've also got Mysore down here, which only has the 1 state available. So let's do that. And Mysore is now complete, in theory. Kolhapur and Deccan states needs 3 more, and we have a free military factory. Not like this is actually going to do much for us, but let's just move all this up to 25. We're going to have some issues with our supplies. That's okay. Like, we would need to import more materials. In fact, we could do that. We could import a little bit more rubber and a little bit more steel. So that would be... What would that put us at? -3? Yeah, I thought we would need to. Okay, there we go. So that's fine for the moment. The Treaty of Lisbon. American Spain was annexed. Okay, well, that's exciting. So over here in Khalistan, we didn't see this work previously. So let's watch. This military factory here is being converted, right? And we've got 20 of 25 unlocked slots. So if we check in here, this would be in Khalistan, Kashmir. Add 1 building slot and 1 civilian factory. So that seems to have just vanished. Okay. Well, that's awkward. Actually, I'm not sure if it did vanish, though. Because why did it also say Kashmir? Hang on. Where is Kashmir? That's this up over here. Okay. So you're one of our puppets. That's a princely autonomy puppet. And it said Kashmir, and I'm wondering if it actually went here. I don't know why it would, but I'm wondering that right now. So over here, we know that this is maxed out. This is at 24 of 25. I'm going to try 1 more to the Central Indian Princely States. Yeah, it's just gone. Okay. So that's definitely not ideal. I'd really like to get this building slot done. But unfortunately, well, maybe now that'll give us Gwalior instead of giving us the capital there. That would be nice. Recon Company has been finished, so let's continue to work on that Recon Company. Perfect. That'll be fine for now. Okay, so as we were saying, we've got Mysore down here, which is completed, and that's marked off. No, it isn't. There we go. Hyderabad is, of course, completed. And then the Western Indian states looks to be completed. Yes. Then we've got Kolhapur and Deccan states down over here. We can do 3 more there. So we'll do 1 there. And yep, that did work. Excellent. Next is Khalistan, which is up here, but I suspect it's actually going to Kashmir. This is actually saying East Punjab this time. Okay, so East Punjab. Where is that? That's here. One of these states over here. Yeah, it's this one. So that's odd. Why is it saying that? So if we were to funnel industry to Khalistan, do they have any territory in East Punjab? I don't think so. Let's see what happens here. So This is going to remove it from West Bengal, and it's going to put it into Khalistan in East Punjab, which they don't have any territory in. So I want to check in here. There's 3 on this line, and here there's 5. Okay, so let's see what we've got going on here. Let's do this and see where it put it. I think it just vanished. I think that's bugged. Okay, so that's understood. That's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world, actually. We can just kind of roll it until it works correctly, I think. So Balochistan over here, we can absolutely get some stuff in there. So this would be in Sistan, and I don't think they have any territory in Sistan. Pretty sure they don't. This isn't even in our territory. So why is it trying to put it in states that aren't even held by these nations? That's really weird. That's really, really strange. I have to assume this is a beta issue and that this will get fixed eventually. Hopefully. Because I'm willing to bet at this point that if we do this, we're not going to get a factory here. So let's find out. Yeah. So that didn't happen. We don't know if a factory went in here or not, but maybe. It'd be very strange if that happened. So, of course, we've got China, which is somewhere around up over here. Where is our version of China? I'm not sure where our China is. Ah, right, up here. Yes. So that's absolutely fine. So with that in mind, and we're definitely taking attrition here, that's not necessarily surprising. With that in mind, we can see this would be in Yarkand. This is not Yarkand. Yarkand is like up here, isn't it? Somewhere? Hang on. Yarkand. Up here. They don't have any territory up here. So, yeah, that's clearly bugged at this point. That's a little awkward. So, Pakistan. This would be in Bombay. And this is in East Bengal here. And Pakistan also holds this, which is CB, and also this, North Balochistan, and also this, Northern Kashmir. So that's not Bombay. Bombay is our capital. Except this is saying we're going to remove it from Bombay, and it's going to go to CB. So that should be fine then. CB, if I remember correctly, is this one. So that should be okay. We should see this factory go in here. So yes, let's do that. And it did. Perfect. So yeah, that seems to be the case. We just have to keep an eye on this, but it's kind of random where it goes, and we can re-roll these, I think, at the cost of a factory if it's not going in the correct place. It's really strange. No doubt about that. So Hyderabad is just straight up done. There's nothing more that we can do there. That's fine. The Central Indian Princely States, this would go to, once again, Central India. So that's not ideal. I would really rather it go to Gwalior. But unfortunately, we can't do that. We can lower the autonomy of a subject, for sure. So we could do, like, these guys. That's fine. We can just continue working our way through that. And for the time being, we're definitely making solid progress on all of this construction. I do want to make sure that we are queuing up any of this that we can. So this is all going to be absolutely great to get this done. Actually, that's a lot in Delhi. There we go. And this is probably moving these to the bottom of our queue, most likely, which is not ideal. So we'll move them back up. But yeah, something like that. So that was a lot of our factories that we had moved, but there's also a number of these that are in vassal locations. And for the moment, I want to prioritize construction on vassals primarily. I'm not sure if I want to entirely do that, though. So we'll move up Bombay, and we'll move up West Bengal for now. That'll be fine. Okay, so something along the lines of that. Okay, Kenya has capitulated. Good for Kenya. So that's fine for now. So at this point, where do we want to funnel more industry to? Well, there's the northwestern frontier provinces, which is these guys up over here. And what state is that going to send it to? Waziristan. So that is here. That should be fine. We can definitely do that. Funneling industry to Manipur would be okay. This would be in Manipur, the state called Manipur. So where is Manipur? Is that you down here? No, that's the Madras princely states. Manipur is out over here. Okay, so that should be absolutely fine. No issue there. There's a number of these that we can continue to funnel industry to. This one would go to Yarkand again, which we don't control any of Yarkand. So that's clearly a bug. That is clearly a bug. I don't know what's going on with that. We can throw factories at it to try to get it to roll up a different location, but I think for the moment, we shouldn't prioritize that. So anyone that is either full or currently bugged, this isn't exactly bugged, it's full here, I want it to target this state, I'm going to mark off of here. So Mysore is currently full, there's nothing to be done there. The Western Indian states are currently full, there's nothing to be done there. Kolhapur and the Deccan states are not quite full. So we can check in here, this is going to go to Kolhapur and Deccan, which is correct. We can do that. And then Khalistan, which is, of course, up over here. We'd love to move some things into that. That is the state of West Punjab. And where's it trying to put it? Well, it's trying to put it in Kashmir, which is a completely different location. So that one is bugged. We're going to mark that off as currently bugged. And then funneling industry to Sindh, which, of course, Sindh is right over here. We can do that as long as it's actually going to Sindh. And it would. So that looks good. We'll do that. And that gave us just the building slot, but that is now unlocked. So now we can mark off Sindh as complete. Okay, so that's fine. And then Balochistan. What do we got going on over here? So this is southern Balochistan, and that should be fine in theory, assuming that it's actually going there. But it's not. It's going to Sistan, which is over here, which means it's bugged. So that's going to be marked off for now. China, of course, is trying to go to Yarkand, which is bugged. Rajputana, at this point, is... We've got these two states, and both would be fine. And yeah, that looks okay. So we'll do that. The Khanate of Kalat is somewhere out over somewhere. I don't actually know where Kalat is. Ah, it's right here. So this would be going into the state of Kalat, which sounds correct. Yes, that is correct. So we'll do that. Perfect. And now we're out of factories. So some of these are certainly bugged, but some of them we're still able to invest in. So that's, you know, awkward. No doubt about that. It's pretty awkward. We'll continue for now, and we should finish up some more of these factories pretty soon. So that's looking great. I wish that they weren't bugged, of course, but what can we do about it? Eventually we'll get to a point where we can just throw factories at it until it's good. Or we could just annex them. That's another option, of course. So let's move this guy over to our Coast Guard for the time being. I am still concerned about the amount of attrition we're seeing out over here, so let's take a look at this. What do we got going on here? So units are affected by attrition. We're only receiving about 50% of the supplies that we need. So this is a level 9 out of 10 naval base. I'm going to queue up a level 10 out of 10 naval base, but this is probably actually the originating naval base that's giving us our bottleneck, is my guess. So this comes from, let's actually look at, this is a land route. That's kind of wild that it's taking a land route. I didn't expect that. I expected this to be a naval route. So can we change that? So we've got a level 6 naval base right down here, right? And I would like to be doing a naval shipping route that would go around like this, right? It wouldn't be much longer than this route to Hiroshima. So that would be ideal. What is our level of naval base here. That's a level 6 naval base. Okay. So this route is definitely not ideal. We may want to consider construction of an additional supply hub here, but I don't think that would help. We don't have free building slots. We do. We just can't build an additional supply hub, presumably because of it already has one from the naval base, I'm guessing. I don't think that would help anyway, but it's worth a try if we could do it. What other ways could we boost this up? Well, infrastructure would help that. And actually, this infrastructure isn't maxed. We should do that. We should max out this infrastructure. So that's a thing that we can do. I am surprised that this is a land route. That's for sure. So I'm looking at our rail levels here. We may want to consider upgrading some of these rail connections. So this is up to 5, 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 and then this one and this one. So that gives us a solid connection from our capital over to Calcutta. And then from there, I'm thinking about building a separate rail connection that would go over to like East Bengal over here. That would be level 5. And then from here, we can run up to here at level 5. And then from there, we can connect over to here at level 5. Kind of like that. Now, hi console. Now this is heading up over this way. So we can maybe upgrade our rail connection up over here, like that. And maybe even like that. So that's going to be a fair amount of construction. No doubt about that. I want to move these two up to the top and then be working on these railroads. But that will help our supply situation, hopefully, but I'm surprised that this is a land route. Going through China like that. That's kind of wild. Well, we'll get it done pretty quickly here. So we're going to have this done in like a month. And then railroads are pretty quick to lay, so that'll be fine. But we do have a lot of railroads to build here. So for the time being, that seems okay. We'll let that be. Now, back in our decisions here, I want to see... Okay, we don't have any more industry to funnel. We don't have any taxable factories right now. Now we do. Okay, so... Kolhapur in the Deccan states. This would go to the correct location. This would be the final location here. So I'm going to unmark that, but then I'm going to do it. There we go. So this is now 25 out of 25. So that looks good. Next up would be Pakistan. And where is this going? This is going to Sibi, which is right here. That seems perfect. We will absolutely do that. So that is this one. Okay. Looks good. So we're able to funnel these over, and we can do so more efficiently now that we're identifying which ones are bugged and which ones aren't. So that's good. And we'll continue to work on this construction, but we can definitely lower the autonomy of a subject, and we'll just do this kind of willy-nilly at this point, kind of at random. So that looks good. We'll just continue to drop those down. Okay, so construction is, of course, our major goal here, but look at this. We're already done with most of that rail line. That rail line is finishing very quickly. So that's looking great. And hopefully that will help things out up over here in Qingdao a little bit. I don't know that it really will. And we're supposed to have 24 divisions here. They are all assigned, so that's awkward. We want to swap over and start producing our fancy new military equipment, so that'll be great. And from here, we'll grab additional improved infantry equipment 3. So that'll be fine for now. I'm not sure where the 24th unit here is. Where are you? Unable to find valid path to the target. Why? Like, you can just depart from Calcutta. That's awkward. I'll order him to go down there, and maybe he'll figure it out. So for now, that seems okay. We do have some unassigned divisions here. They go into the Coast Guard. So that seems perfect. And how are we doing on our production here? Well, we're definitely going to need to get a lot of that infantry equipment done. That'll be good. Yeah, this is looking reasonably fine for now. The Norwegians People's Republic has been annexed. Okay, cool. So that is all fine. We're going to finish up those railways very, very shortly here, and we're also going to finish up our infrastructure in Qingdao. So that will help the attrition situation up here, but I don't think it'll fix it. Let's see what we've got going on here now. Yeah, we're at 53%. Okay. Really what this is just a lot of people in this one province, right? Although I'm still surprised that our supply line is going in... This is an export transfer? Wait, this isn't our actual supply line? Huh. That's interesting. We're definitely getting supplies from dockyards, but not much. Interesting. We'll have to look into that more. This system seems to have been changed somewhat since I last looked at it. Although maybe we're in the wrong map mode. I don't think so, though. We'll figure it out eventually. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.